everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 33 of my modded survival island. Last episode, we were working on a few things. We started out with our new tree farm, which has done extremely well since the end of last episode. I have left the server running for quite some time, and I've actually done quite a few things since the end of last episode. So, if we go and look in our AE system, I think we have a couple thousand oak and rubber at this point. Let's have a look here. Yeah, we've got 7,500 oak wood, as well as 6,000 rubber wood, and probably most importantly, we have about 6,000 raw rubber as well, which is going to come in especially useful today. We also set up our mob grinder as well. I've made a little tweak to this, which you kind of just saw in action just then. I've added this guy here, the vacuum hopper, which I don't actually think we've used yet in the series. So for those who don't know, this is basically a hopper that pulls things towards it on the floor. As you can see there, if we drop like a torch, it will pull the torch towards it. And the reason I put that there is some of the mobs, especially things like spiders, were dying when they hit the floor. They weren't getting killed by the grinder, and so some of their drops were kind of just lying around. And basically, this is going to go ahead and pick those up, dump them in the system, and mean that we don't lose out on any of the stuff that comes from that mob spawner there, which is pretty nice. And since the end of last episode, I have set up a few things. First of all, I have set the quarry going again, basically so that we have enough resources to actually make stuff whilst we work on getting all of our resources from magical crops. I did have to do a bit of a janky setup over here because, of course, we don't have logistics pipes, which means that our setup that we had before no longer works. We can't automatically send stuff over to the mechanism machines, at least not yet. So what I've done is I've taken use of these diamond chests that we now just have lying around now that we've got our AE system, and basically all of the stuff goes into this chest here, which I didn't actually realize was so full, but that's kind of cool. It then gets piped around, of course, through the ore converter here just to kind of save on space because we have like 7 different versions of copper and tin and stuff like that. It then ends up in here, and then we have this little item duct here, which pulls out all of the copper, gravel, and dirt, and just bins it because I'm not really interested in filling up chests and chests and chests with just loads of cobblestone and dirt. So that's basically the setup we have for now. If at any point during this episode we run out of like gold or iron or redstone or stuff like that, we can just come over here, grab it, and we should be good to go. We are a little bit low on Certus quartz crystals, but my plan by the end of this episode is to have way too many Certus quartz crystals than we could ever possibly use, or at least a system that allows us to make more Certus quartz crystals than we could ever possibly use. And finally, if we go over to our farms over here, I've changed a few things. First of all, you'll probably be able to tell that I've added a nether wart farm. That is because we're going to need quite a lot of nether wart for what I plan on doing today. And then also further down here, I have replaced the earth seed farm with a nature seed farm to get us a bunch of nature essence. And again, you're kind of going to realize why I've done that in about 5 minutes once I start working on today's episode. We might as well go ahead and grab quite a bit of these. Most of the nether wart, I think I just dropped a stack of nether wart. That's fine. Most of the nether wart is down in the planter. Actually, we still have some in here. Wow, we have a lot of nether wart now. Nice. So my plan now is to move all of our resource production from the quarry and stuff like that over to magical crops. I want all of our resources to be made using magical crops. Now, we could just do that. We could just go ahead and like kind of make a ton of farms over here and just extend out this bridge forever and ever and ever until we've got enough farms for all of the seeds. But if we look in NEI, there are a lot of seeds, and I mean a lot of magical crop seeds. Like there's a ton here. It would take a ton of space to actually get all of those down, and I don't really want that. I want to have all of that stuff, all of that production in one block, and that is my plan. We're going to use a mod called Compact Machines, a really cool mod that allows you to have like little rooms, kind of like dimensional doors for anyone who's ever played with that mod in older versions of Minecraft. Basically like little rooms in their own dimension where you can have stuff running, but not really have it in your overworld kind of thing. Pretty cool. So we're going to start by making the giant compact machine. There are a few different tiers. Each of those are different sizes, the biggest being this one over here, the maximum size, which does require nether stars, which you don't have just yet. So we're not going to start with that one. Instead, we're going to start with a giant compact machine, which needs quite a lot of diamonds, but thankfully, now that our quarry is going, we do actually have quite a lot of those lying around. So, in order to make this, we're going to need a world resizing cube. Now, I'm going to make 2 of those, because I also want to make quite a lot of big world resizing cubes as well, or quite a lot of big compact machines, which also require world resizing cubes. And so to make these, we need some more world resizing interfaces, which are made with some other stuff and quite a lot of things, and this is where most of the stuff comes in. The sticky piston, of course, is where we're going to use all of our rubber, which is why I set up the rubber tree farm last episode. So let's go ahead and make as many pistons as we can. We might as well. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 stacks, or almost 2 stacks. Let let's also go ahead and just make a bunch of oak wood planks. I mean, we've got enough oak logs here. This should be fine. We're just going to make those so we have them to craft with if needs be. Then let's go ahead and see if we have what it takes to make a bunch of these atomic shrinking modules after we've gone ahead and made about a stack of sticky pistons. Hopefully that's not too many. I don't think it will be. Then let's go ahead and just make a few of these. We do want to watch out for glass because I don't actually think we have that much glass. So let's quickly grab some cobblestone. I'm sure that throwing that in the macerator, yeah, that gives us sand. Okay, cool. So we can go ahead and we could smelt that up afterwards into glass if we need any more glass than we already have. How many of these are we going to need? So I want to make, for now, 2 world resizing cubes, which means we need 12 of these, and therefore 12 of these, right? So that should be fine if we can make 12 atomic... is it called atomic? Atom, sorry. 12 atom shrinking modules. So we've got 5 already. Let's go ahead and make 7 more of those. We are out of glass already. That does not surprise me in the least because I'm pretty sure we had like only a stack of glass at the start of this episode, so I'll put more in there. Let's quickly grab a little bit more cobblestone. There are a couple of things that I would like to make, like the wireless access terminal from Applied Energistics, but right now we don't have enough resources to make a lot of the stuff that I want to make, but hopefully that will be gone by the end of today's episode. Let's take you. Let's go ahead and put 2 of those in at a time. Let's take some more glass. That should be enough to make the remainder of these atom shrinking modules. How many are we on here? Atom 11 and 12. Nice. Then we're going to need to go ahead and make ourselves 12 of the atom enlargement modules, which are the exact same but require pistons instead. So again, I don't think we have enough glass to make this work. We don't. We have enough for 5. So again, let's grab some more glass. Let's put some more sand into there. I love the induction furnace. It is so fast. I think I'm going to move all of these machines down into this little basement room because this seems to be like our base of operations at this point. But I want to move those down at some point so that we can automate them with Applied Energistics. So, for example, we could just request glass to be made instead of having to make it ourselves by hand like we're doing now. But again, that will come in the near future once we get almost unlimited supplies of things like Certus quartz and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and put you in there. I think a stack of 20 should be more than enough. So let's go ahead and stick you back in there. Let's get 7 more of these guys, and then I think we're pretty much good to go. So we need to make a bunch of these, basically as many as we can. What are we missing? We're missing gold. Thankfully, we did have some gold lying around in these machines over here, but this chest got a little bit backed up. So I will go ahead and take all of the gold out of there. Let's throw it into the middle like so, and that should be more than enough to get us 12 of those, at which point we should be able to go ahead and make 2 of these world resizing cubes. Nice. Then we can go ahead and make this one, the compact machine, and the bigger one. Boom. Nice. So, the way that I plan to work this is I'm going to go ahead and create a bit of a compact machine inception because I want all of this stuff to be consumed within one singular block. That's it. I don't want any more than just the one machine here. So, I hadn't quite decided where I'm going to put this, but I think, we can just put it like here in the floor. We're going to put it right there. Boom. And then to access this, we are going to need this guy over here. It looks kind of like a Game Boy. It's the personal shrinking device. So to make this, again, fairly simple stuff. We need 2 more of these world resizing thingamajiggies, so we'll go ahead and grab more of you, and then we should be fairly easily able to do something like that if we have these. 1, 2, and boom. Good stuff. And now all you got to do once you got this is simply right-click on the compact machine, and it will take you into its own dimension. So here we go. This is the size of the diamond one. This is the size of the giant. This is the size of the giant compact machine. It's pretty big. And my plan here is to make a ton more of these big compact machines, the ones made out of obsidian, because we have a ton of obsidian. And I'm basically going to line these walls with these machines, and every single one of these is going to be dedicated to a seed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside the compact machine within a compact machine, which you can do. You can go within, like you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into the compact machine inception layers. But once we're in here, this is the room where basically what we're going to do is we're going to set up a platform like we have out in our farms right now, with a planter, a harvester, some dirt, and basically a tesseract that powers all of that. And then we're going to send the stuff out via these little outputs and inputs that we have on the corners here. And we're just going to have a ton of these. And by the way, all you got to do to get out is right-click. It takes us back to this one. If I were to right-click again, it would take me back to the overworld. We're going to have a bunch of these compact machines just lining the walls, one for every single resource that magical crops can provide. At least that's the plan. So we're going to see if that's going to work. Let's go back to the overworld here real quick, and let's see if we can get one up and running. Now, the one I want to start with is Certus Quartz. I want to start by getting some Certus Quartz seeds up and running to see if we can just make it work as fast and as good as possible. So to make these, we're going to need some Crucio Essence, which we do have. All that we are missing is the Certus Quartz dust. That is kind of crazy. So let's head back over here. Let's grab... Do we have any more, like, lying in here? We do. Oh, beautiful. We got 64 in there. Nice. So... that's going to make our lives a lot easier. Let's go ahead and put those down like so. We don't have enough to make another one, but for now that is fine. You know, we can make more and more seeds from the one that we have. Then we're going to need, of course, a planter and a harvester. Thankfully, these shouldn't be too bad to make. We're missing pretty much everything there, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and make 2 more of these machine frames. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly make like a stack of tin gears because those are always going to come in useful. And we're going to need a ton of machine frames if we plan on doing every single seed that there is. Then let's go ahead and make 1 of those. Let's go and grab ourselves 2 of these Invar axes. We are missing a stick of all things. Thankfully, last episode we did teach our system how to make sticks, right? I'm fairly certain that we did, but for some reason they seem to have lost the ability. I'll have to look into that at some point, but for now we'll do that. We will grab ourselves another one of you. We're then going to need, of course, the 2 golden gears, which again should be fairly easy. I think the planter might require golden gears as well, so I'll make some extra of those, as well as some reception coils. And boom, that gets the harvester. And let's have a look what we need for the planter. It doesn't require golden gears, but copper gears are fairly easy as well. Pistons, we of course already have. Pots, we can make fairly easily. And boom, oh, we don't have enough sheets. Do we have enough of that? We do not. Thankfully, we have a ton of rubber here. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to grab actually 2 stacks of rubber here and throw those all into the induction furnace. And that should quickly just tear through all of those and get us a ton of rubber, which we can then throw through again to get a ton of raw plastic, which I'm going to do really quick here just to save on time a little bit. Once we've got enough of those, I will then put you back in and let those finish up quickly. Let's head on back downstairs. That's just kind of prepping for the future a little bit when we need some more of these plastic sheets for more planters and more harvesters. And we'll throw you in there, and boom, nice. Okay, so now we've got both those. We need some dirt. And one of the main things that I want to work on this time around, and one of the main things that's going to make this different from just doing a ton of these over here, a ton of these farms, is I want to make it so the magical crops grow a lot faster, like so much faster than they do right now. Because right now, they take a long time. They take like a really long time to get anything done. This guy here, the Nature Essence system, has been on for hours and only has just under 2 stacks of Nature Essence, which for Nature Essence is fine, but if it's going to be our primary source of things like gold, if we look here and type in gold essence, getting like only a stack of this stuff, you need to use 8 of them to make 5 ore, which granted, with our ore tripling system, we can turn into 15 gold, but if it takes too long to get 8 gold in essence, we can quite easily burn through a lot of gold. So I want to make this happen a lot faster than it's happening now. We're going to do that with Lilypads of Fertility. So Lilypads of Fertility are in a new mod that I've added to the pack. It's not a new mod, but it's a new to the pack, and that is Relinquary, this one over here. And this will kind of explain why I've made a bunch of the stuff that we've made over the past 2 episodes. To make the Lilypad of Fertility, we of course, first of all, need a Lilypad, which is made using Nature Essence, as you may have guessed. So let's quickly grab a little bit of that. And then we're also going to need a bunch of these things around it, these splash fertilizer serums, which are made using bone meal, hence why I built the spawner, as well as condensed splash serum, which is made using nether wart, gunpowder, again why I built the spawner, and a vial of ordinary water, which is quite simply an empty vial filled up with, you guessed it, ordinary water. So let's go ahead and take a stack of those. And my plan is to basically fill the whole of the underside of the room with the harvester and the planter in with Lilypads of Fertility. And these basically increase the rate at which things grow, and they do work on magical crops, and they do stack their effects. So if you have multiple of them in like one area near your magical crops, they will like rapidly increase the growth of those magical crops. Pretty cool. So let's go ahead and make just as many Lilypads as we can. Wow, we got a stack of those real easily. Then we're going to have to go ahead and make quite a lot of these empty vials here, which is going to require quite a bit of glass panes, or quite a lot of glass panes, I should say. How much glass do we have? We have 10. We have nowhere near enough glass is the answer. So let's again throw a little bit more cobblestone in. Ooh, I didn't want to do that, but it worked. I'm glad. I don't know if machines can actually break in Industrial Craft Classic, but I don't want to take the risk either. Let's take you, and let's just put you back through again, I guess. For now, that is slowing. Oh, it's slowed all the way down to 1% because we took it. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, that's going to take a little while. I don't know why I put sand in there. I meant to put cobblestone in. That's going to take a little while to get back up to full speed, but in the meantime, we can just throw you in there, and that should be fine. And basically, guys, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go away. I'm going to fill up a bunch of these glass vials with water because, as you saw, we need a bunch of ordinary water vials in order to make this work, and I kind of want you to work for me. There we go. Let's grab as many of those as we can. Good stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go away. I'm going to make as many of these splash zone fertilizers as I can, hopefully. How big is this room? Let's have a look here. We've got our giant room, which doesn't really matter. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 by 9, so preferably I want about less, well, 81 is the number that would fill this room, but we are going to need a few spaces for piping and stuff, so probably about 70 of these. If I could get 70 of these Lilypads of Fertility in this room, that would be fantastic. That's going to be a little bit of a stretch for this episode because we would need a ton of these splash zone fertilizers. Hopefully, in the near future, we can automate the process of crafting these so that we can just request a ton of them, and then it'd be really easy to make a bunch of Lilypads of Fertility. But for now, I'm going to go away. I'm going to make as many of these as I can, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little while later, what I've gone ahead and done is I've made 26 Lilypads of Fertility. I'm currently waiting on the macerator to get back up to full speed so we can make a ton more glass. But what I've gone ahead and done is I've filled up this first room, I filled up the floor with water, just completely covered it with water, because the Lilypads of Fertility, in order to work, do need to be placed down on water. So basically, the way it's going to work is we're going to have a bunch of these Lilypads of Fertility like this. Doesn't matter really which way you place them down, like what way they face. We might have to turn off particle effects at some point, which I believe with Optifine is real easy to do. It's like animations and then potion particles. We can turn that off and then it will stop showing these particles just in case we get a little bit of lag whenever we come into here, because having 70 of those give off particles is going to be quite laggy. But basically the way it's going to look is we're going to have these all over this kind of bottom floor here. Unfortunately, these Lilypads do take up kind of one vertical slot. They take up the whole of this block here, and so our actual farm is going to have to be on this level here, but that's fine. These do work, I believe, in a 7x7 area kind of vertically around them, but then also in a 4-block area up and down. So they should work for, like, really this farm in its entirety all around. I was thinking about maybe having 2 farms in each of these, like having one on one level and then another further up, but I don't think the Lilypads of Fertility would quite reach that high. And so for now, we're just going to kind of have a farm that goes, again, all the way around in here, and basically covers this whole room with dirt. But yeah, I'm going to go away. I'm going to make some more of those Lilypads of Fertility. Hopefully the macerator is getting back up to speed nice and quickly. And again, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so again, quite a long time later, we now have the room almost entirely filled up with these Lilypads of Fertility. Of course, I haven't put dirt down on the very back wall here because the harvester won't be able to reach those crops. And I also haven't put any Lilypads of Fertility down the middle here because, like I said, the Lilypads do take up a full block. And therefore, if we want to put some piping in here, like some power piping and some item piping so we can pipe the seeds back around from the harvester chest to the planter, we are going to need a little bit of space here. So this is really as many as we can get in. We could put some more, I think, down these sides. We could put like a few more here and a few more here, and they would have a limited effect on some of these crops here. But for now, this should work just fine. So we're going to head back to the overworld to grab some of the stuff we're going to need to get this actually fully working. So the first thing that we're going to need is a Tesseract. So as always, before the episode started, I did go ahead and make a Tesseract frame. We can throw that in there and then quickly grab a fully formed Tesseract if we get a little bit more bronze, which I'm just going to make a stack of because we're probably going to use a lot of it in the future. And now we've got that. The only thing we need now are item ducts to move the items from, move the seeds, I guess, from the harvester chest back to the planter so the thing works perpetually, as well as some fluid ducts, not some fluid ducts, as well as some flux ducts to power both the machines using the power from the Tesseract. Now, you'll notice there is only one block space. I only left one block space going from the planter back to the harvester. I'm going to put the Tesseract next to the harvester. And so what we're going to do here in order to take both power and items from near the harvester to the planter, we're going to use these fluctuating item ducts, which are basically item ducts that can also carry up to 2,000 redstone flux per tick. So, to make these, they're made very similarly to the way you make redstone flux ducts, but instead of using electrum here, you use tin as well as hardened glass. We do actually have some hardened glass, which I'm actually quite surprised at. I didn't think we had any, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Let's go ahead and throw some redstone into the magma crucible, and once we've got that, all we got to do is throw you into there. We are going to need a few actual redstone flux ducts. Do we have any of those lying around? We have leadstone flux ducts, and you know what? I think they're actually going to be fine. They do only transfer 200 redstone flux per tick, and our big reactor is producing way more than that, but as we've seen from over at our farming section right now, all of these planters and harvesters are all running off the 100 redstone flux per tick that this thing outputs, so I don't really think the planters and harvesters are going to be using that much power, and therefore these leadstone flux ducts should do just fine. That is actually done. We can stop throwing our redstone away. Let's take you, and then let's go and head back, shall we? So we'll go back in here. And what we're going to do, again, back into this guy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have fluctuating item ducts kind of going around from there, under here, and up to here. This is where the chest is going to go. I didn't grab a chest, but the chest is going to go here. And then I think we're going to have the tesseract like that. Of course, we want to say to Isaac Power, tick. We want to make sure it doesn't do anything with items or fluids. It just receives energy. That should power this guy automatically. It is. We're then going to go ahead and put down the leadstone flux ducts like that. That should go ahead and power the planter, which it has, and then all we need to do is head on back, grab a chest, grab some upgrades for the planter and harvester to make sure they can do the full area here. They're going to need a 1, 2, 3. A 3 would do most of the room, but I think I'm going to do a 4 because a 3 wouldn't quite get these corners here for the planter and the harvester. So what is the 4 upgrade? Let's have a look here. I think it's like the one below bronze, the one below the one we've been using up until now, and that is copper. That should be fairly easy. We've got quite a lot of copper. Let's head back quickly to the overworld here. And let's see, so we're going to make ourselves 2 of these copper upgrades. We do actually have quite a lot of raw plastic, so we can go ahead and grab 2 of those. Actually, super easy. Do we have any chests lying around? We have a ton of chests. I don't need to use a diamond chest, but I'm going to use one anyway because we've got it spare lying around, so we'll take that. I'm also going to quickly grab a cache, and you'll see why in just a second. We've already got our Certus Quartz seed. I don't know if there's anything else that we actually need, so again, let's head on back to the Certus Quartz dimension, I guess. We're going to head back over here. We're going to put that one chest down like that. That shouldn't accept items because it's doing nothing with them. And the harvester will automatically output to any nearby inventory, even if it's not on the back. So it should automatically output to this, I think. If it doesn't, we could always, I guess, just to be safe, we could always put the tesseract there and then go boom, boom. That gives power to actually, we don't even need that, do it? We could just do like that, and then the power will, it won't even have a chance to put items into the tesseract. And now, if we were to cover this up, like so, we want to make sure that this, we need a servo, that's what we need. Okay, quickly, back to the overworld. We need a servo to tell the chest to pull out. Do we have a servo lying around? We do. To tell the chest to send the Certus Quartz seeds back around and to the planter. So again, back into here. And what we're going to do over on this guy is we're going to stick one of those, and we're going to whitelist Certus Quartz seeds. Nice. So if we were to put that into here, like so. That should automatically start doing that. Let's grab some water, and just to make sure those are fertile, we'll go ahead and put some water there, and then that should start to have an effect. These Lilypads should start to have a pretty good effect on how fast these things grow. We should actually maybe see some particle effects when they take effect, and it doesn't really look like it now, I know, but once we get an actual load of these down, it should work a lot faster. We might as well actually put you in there as well. So what I'm going to do now, guys, actually, I'm going to go away. I'm going to try and get a load of these Certus Quartz crops, because I'm just going to stand here with my watering can, which I don't have, but I'm going to go get my watering can. I'm going to stand here until we have enough Certus Quartz to fill this entire room, and I'll be back in a second. And finally, again, quite a long time later, look at this. Look at how many of these crops are fully grown. They grow ridiculously fast, at least in comparison to how fast they grew before. They don't grow instantaneously or anything like that, but they grow a lot faster than they used to, and we now have a ton of Certus Quartz essence. So the last thing that I want to do before we wrap up today's episode is I want to automate getting this stuff kind of back out into the overworld. To start with, I want to do something a little bit special for Certus Quartz in particular, because if we look at this stuff here, the Certus Quartz essence, when you craft that up, it makes Certus Quartz ore, which is not what we want. done. And normally you have to break Certus Quartz ore with a pickaxe in order to get these Certus Quartz crystals, which is not what I want to have to do. I don't want to have to go through and break every single one of those. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put the Certus Quartz ore through a enrichment chamber. We can put it through a macerator and get 2, or we can put it through an enrichment chamber and get 4 Certus Quartz dust per Certus Quartz ore. Furthermore, after that, we can then put those 4 Certus Quartz dust again into an enrichment chamber and get 4 Certus Quartz crystals per Certus Quartz ore. So each 8 of these will actually get us 16 Certus Quartz crystals, which is actually kind of crazy. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to start with this machine here, a cyclic assembler, which is basically an auto crafter for those who are not familiar with it. And what we're going to do is we're going to run some leadstone flux ducts again under here to give this guy some power. You do need what's known as a schematic to make this work. It's really easy to make, some paper and some lapis down here. If you stick that in there and go to schematic, you can then teach it what recipe you want it to auto-craft. In this case, we're going to take that Certus Quartz essence and we're going to teach it to craft it up like so. We can then go ahead and click tick, and now any Certus Quartz essence that comes into here will automatically be crafted into Certus Quartz ore. Nice! So again, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our item ducts. We're going to have to use fluctuating item ducts, I guess. Actually, oh no, yeah, that's right. Let's put that there like so. I don't want it to connect to that, although I don't think it matters too much. I want to make sure that this is an input, not an output. We don't want the stuff going back this way like it is right now. Instead, we're getting another servo in a second, but I'll go grab that. Actually, I guess right about now, we're going to servo to pull the stuff out of there and into the other inventory. And also, whilst I'm here, I would like to make a hammer. This guy here, the precision sledgehammer, because I don't think that the upgrades that I've got in the machines, especially the harvester, are the right upgrades. I think we might need to put a bronze upgrade into the harvester to make it be able to access all of the crops. So let's quickly grab one of these. This basically shows you the area in which a mine factory reloaded machine can currently work. It's a pretty nice piece of kit. We're then going to get ourselves another servo. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. The simple basic servo will do just fine for now. Let's head on back into here, and then if we use our sledgehammer, we can see, oh my goodness. Yeah, well, this is actually kind of annoying because I can't see specifically what this one's doing. I can see that the planter can reach this area, but it seems like it can reach the back there, so I guess I was wrong in that regard. That is good. We'll put you there. Again, we will whitelist the essence to come out of this side, like so. We will then go ahead and click that redstone ignored. So that should take all of the stuff out of here and start pumping it over into here, if that's working correctly. We're then going to make sure the up is the only output here, so that's going to be orange. The rest can be off for the time being. And then above this, we're going to have our first enrichment chamber, which can go just there. We're then going to go inside and we're going to set the config so that we're going to have orange or red, I guess, at the bottom. And then we're going to have, I guess, blue. I think we'll have dark blue on this side. I don't want this to be anything or anything like so. So I think if we set that right, that should, yeah, there we go. It's bringing stuff in there. And again, we will just grab our flux duct and bring that around and up like so. That should start to power that. Good stuff. Then we're going to go ahead and put our next enrichment chamber right there. We're going to make sure the bottom is nothing. So that shouldn't put any of those, even though that's connected, nothing should go into there, I don't think. We want to make sure this side is set to red, like so. And we want to make sure that this side here is set to blue, the output. And then finally, once all of that stuff has actually turned into the Certus Quartz crystals, which it should start to do there, we can then go ahead and pipe out of this side here. We're going to go ahead and put some more of these fluctuating item ducts. We don't want it to connect there or there. And then these are actually inventories, as you can see here on each side, to push stuff in and out of the system. So I'm not quite sure where one of those just went, but everything that comes out of here should, if we turn auto eject on, auto eject out and around into that side bit there, I think. It says disabled. I want it to be exporting. So it's going to be sending stuff out to the diamond compact machine. It's currently not working. Is that right? Blue? It is. The blue side should be auto ejecting. It didn't seem to be, so I've gone ahead and added a servo. That seems to be working. I'm not quite sure if you need one or not, but that is over there. And now, if we head back over to this guy, we should be able to see them in here. We can, and then I'm not quite sure if we need an item duct or not. If I just put that there, will that auto-eject? It will not. So, what we're going to do, I guess, for each one of these, let's see if we can pick that back up, is I guess we're going to have, again, another item duct. I'll probably replace these at some point with normal item ducts because they don't really need to be fluctuating item ducts. But again, we can go ahead and we can just, I guess maybe it might be to do with the direction it's facing. That's west, that's south, that's north. If I put that to the north side, does that auto eject? It does. Okay, cool. So I might just actually go ahead and make sure that all of those like have a gap in the middle. So it'll probably be like cache, and then compact machine, then cache, compact machine, cache, compact machine. And there we go. Look at that. All of our Certus quartz will now be nicely stored within here. And one of the really cool things about these compact machines is that they are automatically chunk loaded. So everything that goes on in here will continually go on forever and ever and ever. Even whilst I'm not in this dimension, it will just continue to work, which is pretty flippin' awesome. I can go ahead and disconnect that actually. We'll disconnect that. This is not moving. Oh, there we go. It's moving now. Okay, good stuff. This could probably do with some speed upgrades, I'm not gonna lie. And if we do end up putting some speed upgrades in there, I might have to move the Tesseract from over here to over here, so that we can give these guys like the bulk of the power with maybe some redstone flux ducts, and then send the lesser amount of power over to these guys, because right now they are a little bit slower than I would like them to be. But all in all, they are doing particularly well. Look at how many. Look at this field. Right now, the harvester cannot keep up. That does remind me, I should go ahead and quickly put down the void fluid pipe I brought. That's going to dump all the sludge out and make sure that the harvester works as fast as it possibly can. And that's it. There we go. Look at that. It's working a lot faster now. That's a lot nicer. We also have a ton of seeds at this point, which is absolutely fantastic. And with that, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Modded Survival Island there. As always, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.